For part A, in question 1, you just subtract the two powers, so the answer would be x to the power of 7. Then in part B, first I'm going to add the two powers in the numerator, so I get 7 to the power of 12, denominator stays the same, and then subtract the two powers, so 7 to the power of 9. For question 2, note the following. Going from meters to centimeters, you multiply 100 meters squared to centimeters squared by 100 squared, and meters cubed to centimeters cubed multiplied by 100 cubed. So in our case, it's going to be 32.4 times 100 to the power of 3. So that's a total of 6 zeros, which means 3 to 4 with another 5 zeros would be the correct answer. For question 3, I'll start with the left-hand side, which is 4 2/3 plus 3 4/5. I'll make the denominators the same, so 4 and 10 over 15 plus 3 and 12 over 15. This gives me 7 and 22 over 15, which is equal to 8 and 7 over 15, and this is equal to the right-hand side, hence proved. For question 4, I'll use the fact that the sum of angles in a triangle is equal to 180. So 4x plus 10 plus x plus 20 plus 30 is equal to 180. So 5x plus 60 is equal to 180. 5x is equal to 120, so x comes out to be 24. In question 5, I need to construct the angle bisector of this angle. I'll start by placing the pin of the compass at A and drawing an arc that cuts both lines A, B, and AC. Let's label the points of intersection of this arc with A, B, and AC as P and Q. So now, using our compass again, we'll have to draw two new arcs, one with the pin of the compass placed at P and the other one at Q. These two new arcs must be with the same radius. I will keep the same radius as before, so all my arcs are done with the same radii. Now, when you draw the two arcs, make sure that they intersect, and once they intersect, join the point of intersection to A, and this will be your angle bisector. For question 6, let the probability getting a red be x, hence the probability of getting green is 2x, and the sum of all these probabilities should be equal to 1, so we have x plus 0.24 plus 2x plus 0.31 is equal to 1, hence 3x plus 0.55 is equal to 1, 3x is 0.45, so x is 0.15, and to find the estimate for the number of times she takes red, we'll multiply 180 by 0.15, which comes out to be 27. For part A of question 7, I'll just rearrange. 2x is bigger than 4 minus 7, so 2x is bigger than minus 3, so x is more than minus 3 over 2. For part B, I'm going to factorize x minus 8 times x plus 5 is equal to 0, so x is equal to 8 or x equals minus 5, which is my final solution. For question 8, there are many methods you can use. I'll go with the multiplying factor method. Recall the following. Given an initial value, if you multiply by the multiplying factor, you get the final value. So if you want the multiplying factor, you will just divide the final value over the initial value. So Let's apply this one for 2 periods from 2016 to 17 and from 17 to 18. So let's begin. So for 2016 to 17, I have 545 over 500. This is equal to 1.09, and this means there's an increase of 9%. Repeat this for the period 2017 to 18, and I get 592 over 554. This comes out to be 1.086. This means that I've got an increase of 8.6%. So since 8.6 is less than 9%, she is obviously wrong. For part B, again, there are many ways. I will use the multiplying factor method as above. Note, I've got a discount of 15%, which means that my multiplying factor is 0.85. That's 15% below 100%. So the normal price times 0.85 is equal to the final price. So the normal price is 952 over the multiplying factor. That's 1120. So the discount is equal to the difference. So 1120 minus 952, 168 euros. For question 9, recall that density is equal to mass over volume. So in our case, 19.3 equals mass over 150. So the mass is 19.3 times 150, which gives me 2,895 grams. In question 10, I have 50 meters per second. This is like saying 50 meters over 1 second. I need to convert this into kilometers per hour. Now, 50 meters when converted to kilometers, these are divided by 1,000, and to convert 1 second into hours, I'll first divide by 60 to make it into minutes, and then by another 60 to make it into hours. If you put this on the calculator, it's going to give you 180, and these are kilometers per hour. I'll start question 11 by finding AC, which is the diameter of the circle. I'm going to use the triangle and Pythagoras theorem. So 17 squared equals 15 squared plus AC squared. So AC squared is equal to 17 squared minus 15 squared, which is 64. So AC is the square root of 64, which is equal to 8. This means that the radius of the semicircle is 4 centimeters. So now the perimeter of this shape is equal to 2 pi r over 2 because I have a semicircle plus 17 plus 15. So I can cancel out the 2's. My radius is 4, so I've got 4 pi plus 32. This comes out to be 44.6 centimeters. For question 12, there are 4 possible comparisons you can make. You can find the price per liter in krone or the price per liter in dollar, and the lowest one would be the most value for money. And the other 2 methods involve finding the volume per krone or the volume per dollar, and the highest one would be the better value for money. I will proceed with the first one, price per liter in krone. So for the first one, the Dane oil, I have 2.5 million over 4.2 times 10 to the 5. This comes out to be 5.95 krone per liter. And for the Arctic oil, I'll start by converting the amount, which is $770,000 times 6.57, and this is equal to 5,058,900 krone. And then I'll repeat the procedure. So I've got this amount divided by 8.6 times 10 to the 5. This comes out to be 5.88, again, krone per liter. And my answer would be the Arctic oil is the better one because it is cheaper. For question 13, I'll use 3 steps to find the missing angle. Step 1, I'll find angle CAD because angles in the same segment are equal. Then I will find angle ACD. This is a right angle because angles in a semicircle are 90 degrees. And finally, I will find my missing angle using the sum of angles in a triangle. So let's write these things down. So step 1, CAD is equal to 28 because angles in the same segment are equal. Step 2, angle ACD is equal to 90 because angle in a semicircle is 90 degrees. And finally, step 3, BDC, which is the missing angle, plus 32 plus 28 plus 90 must be equal to 180, which means BDC is equal to 30 degrees. And the reason is that angles in a triangle add up to 180. For question 14, part A, I need to complete the tree diagram. Now, probability of getting a large one is 13 over 20, which means 7 over 20 is the probability of getting a small one. Now, if the first one is large, there are 12 out of 19 large ones and 7 over 19 small glasses. Now, if the first one is small, then there are 13 out of 19 large glasses and 6 out of 19 small glasses. For part B, to find the probability he takes 2 small glasses, I will multiply the probabilities on those 2 branches. So I have 7 over 20 times 6 over 19, and this will give me 21 over 190. For question 15, note that graphs A and E are reciprocal graphs. A is a positive one, E is a negative one. So A is of the form y equals A over x. E is of the form y equals minus A over x. Now, C and D are squared reciprocal graphs. C being the positive, D being the negative. So C is y equals A over x squared, while D is y equals minus A over x squared. And finally, B and F are cubic graphs. B is the negative one, F is the positive one. So F is y equals ax cubed, while B is y equals minus A over x cubed. So if I go to my table, the first one, y equals 2 over x squared, that's graph C. Then the second one is a negative cubic one. This is graph B. And the last one is a negative reciprocal. This is graph E. For question 16, I'll start by removing the square root. So y squared is equal to x plus 1 over x minus 4. Now I'm going to cross multiply and expand at the same time. So y squared x minus 4y squared is equal to x plus 1. I'll take the x's on one side and everything else on the other side. Now the x terms are these two. So y squared x minus x is equal to 4y squared plus 1. I'm going to factorize the x on the left hand side. So x bracket y squared minus 1 is equal to 4y squared plus 1. And finally, I'm going to divide by the bracket. So 4y squared plus 1 over y squared minus 1 is my final answer. For question 17, let the smaller of the two numbers be x and the larger be x plus 1. I'm going to square both and subtract. So this will give me x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus x squared, which means I have the x squares cancelling out. So I'm left with 2x squared plus 1, which is an odd number. And this concludes my proof. Note that we could have used x as the big number and x minus 1 as the small one. So x squared minus x minus 1 squared. This would lead to 2x minus 1, which is equally correct. For question 18, I will use the following fact. Frequency density is equal to the frequency over the class width, which means that the frequency is equal to the class width times the frequency density. Now, the class width is equal to the base of each rectangle, of each bar. So let's find the class widths. So the first one is from 0 to 10, so that's at 10. 5 for the second one, 9 for the third one. It goes from 15 to 24. Then I've got a 6 and finally 15. Now the frequency density is the height of each bar. Let's find those as well. The first one is 0.7, the next one 3.4, third one is 1, the fourth one is 2.5, and the last one is 4.8. And finally, I'm gonna use this formula to find the frequencies. I will multiply for each bar the red and the blue number. So I've got 7 for the first one, 17 for the second, 9 for the third, 15 for the fourth, and 72 for the last bar. So if I add these numbers together, I get 7 plus 17 plus 9 plus 15 plus 72. It gives me 120. That's the total frequency. Now I want the number of customers between 17 and 35 minutes. Now 17 to 35, that takes 3 bars. Part of the third one, the fourth one, and part of the last one. Now if I go back to my graph, I need from 17 to 24. So I want this region. 24 to 30 is the whole of the fourth bar. And 30 to 35 is a third of the last bar. So let's find the area of each of those highlighted bars. From 17 to 24, I've got 7 times 1 is equal to 7. 24 to 30, I've got 6 times 2.5, which is 15. And 30 to 35, that's 5 times 4.8, which is 24. And if I add these numbers up, I get 46. So the proportion that's spent between 17 and 35 is equal to 46 over 120, which gives me 23 over 60, or if you want this as a percentage, is 38.3%. For part B, I want the probability that the time is bigger than 36, given that the time is more than 30. Now the total customers taking more than 30 minutes is equal to 72. That is the last bar. And out of those 72, I want to see how many take more than 36 minutes. Let's go back to the bar. Let's get rid of the highlighted regions. So more than 36, we are talking about this region here. That's a rectangle with a base of 9 and height 4.8. So if I do this multiplication, 9 times 4.8, I will get 43.2. That's my numerator. And if I simplify this probability, I will get 3 over 5, which is the final answer. Part of question 19, this line has a gradient of -4. So any line parallel to this one has equation y equals -4x plus c, where c is any number except 7. So for example, I could get y equals -4x plus 5. Now for part B, I know that line L passes through those 2 points. I will use those 2 points and the gradient formula. So m equals -2 minus 1 over 2 minus -3. And this will give me -3 over 5. And then I have another line which goes through -6, 4. And this line is perpendicular to the first one. And for perpendicular lines, I know the following. So -3 over 5 times the second gradient is -1. And so the second gradient is 5 over 3. So the equation is y equals 5 over 3x plus c. Let's substitute the point -6, 4. So 4 equals 5 over 3 times -6 plus c. 4 equals -10 plus c. C comes out to be 14. So the equation is y equals 5 over 3x plus 14. Let's multiply everything by 3 to get it into this form. So 3y is equal to 5x plus 42. And if I take everything on one side, I get 5x minus 3y plus 42 is equal to 0, which is my final answer. The area of a rectangle is given by the formula length times width. In our case, 18 equals square root of 7 plus 1 times width. So my width is equal to 18 over the square root of 7 plus 1. Now I will need to rationalize the denominator, and to do so I need to create the difference of two squares in the denominator. That's what the formula states. So I'll have to multiply top and bottom by square root of 7 minus 1. Now the numerator is simply 18 times square root of 7 minus 1. I will not expand yet. And the denominator is square root of 7 squared minus 1 squared. Now let's rewrite the numerator, 18 square root of 7 minus 1. Now my denominator is square root of 7 squared, which is 7 minus 1, that's equal to 6. Note how the 6 and the 18 simplify. So I'm left with 3 square root of 7 minus 1. And if I expand this, I get 3 square root of 7 minus 3, which is in the required form. For A1, this transformation is a translation by 4 units to the left. So the maximum point will go to 0, 6. The second transformation is a stretch along the x-axis with a scale factor of 1 over 2. So the x coordinate becomes 2, the y stays the same. For part B, I'm given this curve. Let's call this g of x. So it's x squared plus 3x plus 4. Now this translation is 4 units to the right and 6 units up. So what I'm looking here is g of x minus 4, that's 4 units to the right, and then plus 6. So let's apply this. I've got now x minus 4 squared plus 3x minus 4 plus 4, and then I will add a 6 at the end. And it says you do not need to simplify this equation. I'm just going to rewrite it as x minus 4 squared plus 3x minus 4, and I will just add the 4 and the 6. So that's a plus 10. Now this is a perfectly acceptable answer. If you want to go a step further and simplify this one, you will get x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus 3x minus 12 plus 10, and this will give you x squared minus 5x plus 14, which is also acceptable, and this is in its simplest form. In question 22, we need to solve nonlinear simultaneous equations. I will substitute x plus 2 into y. So x squared plus x plus 2 all squared minus 2 times x plus 2 is equal to 24. So x squared plus x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus 2x minus 4 is equal to 24. So 2x squared plus 2x minus 24 is equal to 0. Let's divide this by 2. So x squared plus x minus 12 is equal to 0. I will need to factorize x plus 4, x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now you can solve this not just by factorization, but by using any other method like completing the square or the quadratic formula. Now this gives me x equals minus 4 or x equals 3. And if I substitute into the linear equation, I will get y equals minus 4 plus 2. So y is equal to minus 2, or y is equal to 3 plus 2, which will give me y is equal to 5. So my 2 points of intersection are minus 4, 2, and 3, 5. For question 23, I am given AP, and I'll need to show that AP is a fraction of AM, and this will enable me to find the ratio AP to PM. So let's begin by finding some vectors that will be useful. BC is equal to BA plus AC, and this is minus 4A plus 2B. The vector BM is half of BC. I'm given that M is the midpoint of BC, so that's half of minus 4A plus 2B, which is minus 2A plus B. And finally, vector AM is equal to AB plus BM. AB is 4A, BM is given above here. And if I simplify this one, I will get 2a plus b. So now let's take AP as given. So it's 3 over 2a plus 3 over 4b. Let's make the denominators the same. So I've got 6 over 4a plus 3 over 4b. I'm going to take out a common factor of 3 over 4, and this will give me 2a plus b, and then recognize this thing here as am. So I've got 3/4 of vector am. Now, since AP is 3/4 of AM, it means that PM is the other quarter of AM. So I can write AP to PM. This is 3/4 to 1/4, and you can simplify this one as 3 to 1, which is my final answer. For question 24, I'll work separately with the bracket and separately with the fraction on the right, and then I'll put them again together. So for the first one, I have the following: 4 over 2x minus 5 minus 3 over 2x minus 3. Let's make this into a single fraction. 4 times 2x minus 3 minus 3, 2x minus 5. And the denominator is 2x minus 5, 2x minus 3. Let's expand the top. 8x minus 12 minus 6x plus 15 all over the two brackets. I'm not going to expand. And if I simplify this, I will get 2x plus 3 over 2x minus 5, 2x minus 3. Nothing cancels out, so this is as simple as it can get. Now, for the second fraction, I have the following: 9x minus 4x cubed over 6x squared minus 17x plus 5. Now, the numerator has a common factor of x, so x, 9 minus 4x squared, and I'll factorize the denominator. This will give me 2x minus 5, 3x minus 1, and now I can further factorize the numerator. Note the bracket is the difference of two squares, so x, 3 minus 2x, 3 plus 2x, and then I have the same brackets in the denominator. Now let's put this together. 2x plus 3 over 2x minus 5, 2x minus 3 times, and I'm going to flip the second fraction, and I have 2x minus 5, 3x minus 1 over x, 3 minus 2x, 3 plus 2x. Now I can cancel some brackets here. 2x plus 3 with 3 plus 2x, and I can also cancel out the 2x minus 5. So I am left with 3x minus 1 at the top, x, 2x minus 3, 3 minus 2x at the bottom. Note, this is acceptable. This will give you full marks. If you want, you can take this a step further. Note that the two brackets in the denominator are reversed, so I can take a common factor of minus 1 outside of one of those brackets. So let's keep this the same and flip the other one. I can take the minus at the top, so I'm going to have 1 minus 3x, and I can write these two brackets as one bracket squared. So both of these answers are accepted. In question 25, Mario is going to save $50 in the year 2021. Next year, he will save K more, so 50 plus K. The year after, 50 plus K plus another K, so 50 plus 2K, and so on. We are given that the total from 2021 to 2070 is 33,125. Note that there are 50 years between 221 and 2070 because both 221 and 270 are included. So I have an arithmetic sequence. N is 50. A is also 50. That's my first term. And my common difference is K because I'm always adding K. Now the formula is the following. So let's substitute what we are given. 33,125 is equal to 50 over 2. 2 times 50 plus 50 minus 1 times K. So 33,125 is equal to 25,100 plus 49K. Let's divide both sides by 25. So 1325 equals to 100 plus 49K. Subtract the hundreds. 1225 equals 49K. So K comes out to be 25. That's the final answer. In question 26, I'm given a sector that can form the curved surface area of a cone. Now note the following. For the sector, the distance OA, which is equal to the distance OB, is equal to the radius, but for the cone, the distance OA, which is equal to OB, is equal to L, which is the slant height. It's this distance here. So be careful when we say R, whether we're referring to the sector or the cone. The radius of the cone is this distance here. So let's begin with the cone and the volume of the cone. The formula for the volume is the following. So 1,600 is equal to 1 over 3 pi r squared times 25. Let's multiply 3. 4,800 is pi r squared times 25. So r squared comes out to be 192 over pi. Hence, r is equal to the square root of 192 over pi. And this, as a decimal, is 7.8176 and so on. I can use the radius and the height and this right angle triangle to find L. So according to Pythagoras theorem, L squared is equal to 25 squared plus 7.8176 and so on squared. Now I'm using full accuracy for this number. So L squared is equal to 686.115 and so on. L is the square root of this number, comes out to be 26.193 and so on. Now, if you used this expression, then the exact answer for this one comes out to be the square root of 625 plus 192 over pi. Still working with the cone, let's find the surface area given by the following formula. This is equal to pi times the radius of the cone, which we found above, that's 7.8176, times L, which is 26.193, and this will give me an answer of 6 643.315722. And now let's move to the sector. In this specific question, the area of the sector is equal to the curved surface area of the cone, which is this value here. Now the area of the sector is given by the following formula. So I get x over 360 times pi, and now note the radius of the sector is equal to the slant height of the cone, which we have found above. That's 26.193 and so on. And this should be equal to 643.31 and so on. I have more digits here. So x is equal to 643.31 times 360 divided by pi times 26.193 squared. If you put this on the calculator, it will come out to be 107 to the nearest integer.